I've just come back from a literacy conference, and one of the ideas that was shared quite regularly throughout the conference was the idea of translanguaging. And this is where people who speak different languages, like you speak multiple languages, you include that, or you seamlessly swap between the different languages. They're talking about using translanguaging in the classroom, where teachers intentionally encourage students to use their home language as part of the school work that they do. And this was a very interesting idea to me, because when we talk about children who don't speak English, which is the mainstream language in Australia, do we encourage children who speak Chinese or Hindi or Arabic and encourage them to use their home language in their schoolwork? What does this mean for the child, and what does it mean for the family? I'm sure, like, we all know the benefits of being multilingual, right? It helps us, to improve our brain, to improve our knowledge of language itself. But my question then is, if we are then modifying our school curriculum or the expectations to say, well, you can do things in your home language, how does that help us when it comes to standardized testing, for example, NAPLAN or HSE or whatever it is? How does it help those children who don't speak the mainstream language, English, and may not speak it very well, if their assessments have been modified during class to say, yes, you can submit something with different languages and I'm happy to mark it. But when it comes to standardized testing, I don't think the system is set up to absorb that yet. And I'll give a simple example where I'm part of a book club where I'm reading a book at the moment that uses a lot of translanguaging in it. I didn't realize it at the time until I kind of attended this conference, because I hadn't heard of this term before. But so the author has used lots of different kind of colloquialisms or words from their home language, and it's an award-winning book, but I'm just finding it really annoying. I don't enjoy the story at all. It's a very much a stream of consciousness type book, and that's not the kind of book I normally read. I like things with a very strong plot. So my question then is, why did this book win an award? Like, I don't enjoy it, and a lot of the people that I'm in this book club with also don't enjoy it. They're just finding it really annoying the way that this author is just writing his ideas and rambling on a page. And it's interesting to hear the author kind of using their home language and learn some of those kind of unique parts of their culture and things like that. But I don't think it's good enough to win an award. And my question is, did it win an award just because it was a kind of a minority-driven book? This is the question that I had when I heard about translanguaging and modifying our classrooms and incorporating children's home language or students' home languages. Although I will share an idea that came through one of the people who had presented. They talked about this Aboriginal community that they're working in, where they're working with, I think it was early high school students who speak their Aboriginal home language. I can't remember what it was, but they have written a book in English. And the teacher was explaining, or she was making excuses about it's not really standard Australian English, but it's the way that they speak. And I thought it was really interesting because they had written a phrase, something like, the fish were teasing. And it's not how we would usually, describe fish in English when we're writing especially for school, we wouldn't write like that. But you can see the way that their Aboriginality was coming through in the way that they're understanding and elevating the fish to be as worthy of, having emotions or, kind of being part of the world as human beings. And you can see that coming through in the writing, which was really nice, I thought. And you don't need to make an excuse for that. But then, if they're writing an essay for their HSE or whatever, are they going to be able to do that? I don't think the system is set up for that, to appreciate that kind of language yet. So yeah, that was just my thoughts about this translanguaging idea.